serious engagement with models. What's that about? Can you imagine a world? Can you imagine a world without engagement? A waste of time. Better to imagine a world full of engagement, where the engagement has recognizable form and high quality. For help imagining, look at video games and film. Here's the spaghetti western. Definitely a world of engagement in high quality form. That's an understatement. If you haven't seen Once Upon a Time in the West, I can't recommend it enough. Words fail at the final duel scene that starts near this frame. Awe-inspiring. 11 out of 10. Charles Bronson near the camera. Henry Fonda, The Black Hat. Directed by Sergio Leone. This is engagement as good as it gets. You can find the duel on YouTube, but just watch the movie. All 2 hours and 45 minutes of it. You might notice something funny. In video games, your form of engagement with the model is the gun in your hand or a car, as it is in film typically. Or the combination, a car that's acting like a gun. Interesting that all three of these movies, these two and Once Upon a Time in the West, came out in 1968. A good year for movies, I'd say. A car is not an adequate form of engagement in technical models. I mean, this is completely obvious, right? Just get in a car and drive around your AEC model and run over stuff. Is that a useful form of engagement in technical models? Or as some people advocate, how about no form of engagement at all? Well, if running around with a gun or a car in technical models is ineffective, I'll just add that no engagement at all is even less useful. Something more is needed. AFR-TGN is an adequate form of engagement in technical modeling. In digital visual space-time for technical model, AFR-TGN is adequate. It rises to meet the need, the occasion. AFR-TGN is a recognizable form of engagement of high quality for both interpretive and generative purposes, as in real life. I'll come back to that. And other purposes, like communication. Here are the 8 proposed open source core features of TGN. I describe and demonstrate these at my website. What is AFR-TGN? On my website are demonstration videos, developer specification, discussion articles, and precedent tech. Please go there, take a look. Let's compare AFR-TGN to other forms of engagement with models. I'm scoring the final duel scene in Once Upon a Time in the West an 11 out of 10. Engagement can never be done better. Might as well not try. I mean, game over. For those still recommending no engagement, I'm scoring that a 0. BCF is an improvement on saved views and gets a 5. Automatic drawing model fusion is 11 years old now, precedent tech from 9 software vendors that I know of. It gets a 6. I did it first. You can find info about that on my website. The page is at the TGN drop-down menu in the website header. I'm scoring TGN a 7, and TGN is the minimum standardized core feature set under the broader, unlimited, attention-focusing rigs AFR concept. I talk about AFR at my website. AFR can extend TGN as far as anyone can imagine. It's up to you. So the potential of AFR is 10, not 11. 11 is reserved. That's already done and won't be done again. But we can do this. We can upgrade the other engagements to TGN, and can upgrade them to TGN and increase the quality of engagement of all of them to 7. There are many possible paths for automating this upgrade, by the way. And note the differentiation space between TGN and AFR from 7 to 10. One last thing. These are not the only forms of model engagement. There are other important forms, of course. Here are a few. Sure, this is the Big Bang diagram of the expansion of the universe. But let's say it's not the universe, but it's your project model. Where does it come from? What generates it? Your brain, or some brains, a team of people. Imagine it. This is a generative engagement with modeling, which of course reminds of generative computational design apps. Grasshopper, generative components, Dynamo, etc. But of course now enters AI via ChatGPT, etc. The thing is, we need to look at this as a whole. And these things are both generative and interpretive. You use these things at the yellow arrows both to generate and to interpret what's generated. And so are these, both generative and interpretive. The engagements are interpretive. They help you understand the model. And they're generative. They're gateways for feedback into generative systems. It's up to developers to recognize and exploit that, develop it. There are so many ideas on feedback from interpretive engagements back into generative systems. And don't forget to add search. Okay, let's conclude. This is a thought loop. This whole thing is a process of thinking. Generate, engage, interpret, generate, engage, interpret. There is A long way to go. There is a long way to go before digital media adequately supports this loop. TGN is a good step along the way. Thank you. Tack så mycket.